News. Welcome to our weekly live session. I'm Simran Shiwalkar, journalist at CII News and your host for today. And we have with us Dr. Akhil Damodar. He's a dean at IILM University's Business School and also a founder and CEO of Elteridium, a leader across telecom, IT, aviation, and education. He is a mentor to young innovators focusing on AI and blockchain. With a PhD in management and masters from IIT Delhi and background in senior role and Tata Communications, Akhil is also a TEDx speaker and a Celerity 40 Under 40 awardee. Without any further ado, let's explore his unique journey and also dive into the world of tech, innovation, and leadership. Akhil, thank you so much for joining and agreeing to do this with us today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure is totally ours. And with that, I would love to understand about your journey. If you could share a bit of how you've started and your role, your current role, what's involved. If you could just share that with us.
So I did my BTech in electronics instrumentation, and so with that, I started my career in telecommunication with Tata Communication, and then from there I started my career to Orange Business Services, which is a French telecom group, which works mainly on aviation networks. And then when did my MBA, I shifted to academics, and I was with UPS, and then I am ILM, and now I am in ILM University. So my main area of research was how law, regulation, and technology can work together. That's how I started it. But then slowly and slowly, what I happened is, slowly and slowly, I realized that as tech is moving forward, like blockchain came in, or metaverse came in, or AI came in, I realized that as a faculty, I need to also start working on those things, and that's how the startup called Elteridium came in. I mean, to make sure that I don't want to be somebody who is knowing things theoretically, but also somebody who knows practically, and that's the reason the Elteridium happened. And I started working on blockchain, how this contracts used to happen, and then the AI came in. And to be very frank, I will be happy to say that in AI, we are the first university where we, as a faculty driven, we have inbuilt AI as per GPTs and all those AI tools inside the classroom, and that's something which we'll discuss in later question. But that's how everything has started off. Over to you.
Interesting. And thank you once again for sharing your journey with us. I'm sure as challenging as your role is, I mean, you are already into education, you're a dean, and you have a company of your own, you have a business of your own. What does a typical day looks like to you? How do you begin your day?
I mean, that's caught me spot on. So, I mean, I would say that I think generally I wake up around 6 o'clock or 6:30. I do a bit of exercise, and then I rush to make sure that I go to college. And in university, as soon as I reach, I have meetings in terms of the programs, the number of students, the classes which are going on, and how the classes are happening, experience of them. After that, I make sure we have meetings in terms of the new programs which we are going to launch, the webinars or the events which we are doing it. And apart from that, we have an incubation cell where we discuss with the startups or the mentors who are doing these startup activities. With that over, that becomes the activity in the academic side, and then by evening, I mean 3 o'clock onwards, I start working on my blockchain platform. So I start helping in terms of the product development. Sometimes we have meetings in terms of the next startup events which we are going to do, or where the stall we need to have. I mean, next stall and next demonstration which we are going to have, and that's a typical day. But to be very frank, almost 15 days of a month, I'm traveling to different places, showcasing the AI, showcasing the blockchain, showcasing the things to schools and colleges to make sure that they also are aware of exactly what things are happening on.
Fantastic. And I'm sure your agenda for the day, and now you said you're mostly traveling for the month, is already set, I believe. But because
Sure.
you spoke, about blockchain and AI, and because you specialize in these technologies, what potential do you see, especially for blockchain, when it comes to public sector, public-private partnerships, to be specific?
Okay. See, public-private partnership is generally a project in which public has a project and private gives their skill or fund or expertise to make sure that the project is completed. Like you have airports in India, you have railway, certain parts of railway, highway routes. All these are PP projects. Generally, the major challenge in PPP is the contracts, and we make sure that we give the contracts through blockchain, and that's where the blockchain has a real big case study. I mean, that's where I mean, in the ecosystem we always talk about that having authentication in degree or creating certificates in blockchain. I mean, they are the things which are happening on ground, are not the future of blockchain. The future of blockchain is in contracts, and those contracts, if made on blockchain, a lot of transparency and automation can be done. And PPP is a big chunk in which this whole contract is a challenge in which everybody has to keep moving and working on it. I think blockchain really works out there, and that's the reason we make sure we are propagating that blockchain should be used more on public sector where actually the need is for the blockchain.
Great. And I do have a question for you. You've been associated with, large companies like Tata Communication, for example. How did the idea of, how was Elteridium born and what was the inspiration behind it?
Okay, so I mean, good question. I mean, Elteridium came from my PhD for that matter. So for that happened, I was doing my PhD in public-private partnership, and the solution of public-private partnership I was trying to find out. By the time I completed my thesis, I realized that blockchain has a real use case for the solution of PPP. And we were doing the product demonstration with it. Then this idea of Elteridium came in. That why can't we have a startup incubated in the university, and let's start as a group of people and start working on making sure that blockchain can be part of public-private partnership, and that's how the Elteridium came in.
Fantastic. Best wishes to the company as well, and thank you once again for
Thank
sharing
you.
your thoughts on that.
Thank you.
Next, I want to ask you if your experience as a mentor of IIT Bombay's entrepreneurial cell and at Agile Thinking Lab. If you could share a bit about that.
So ECell in Bombay, IIT Mumbai for that matter, is one of the largest ECell in India. So they have mentors which are top-notch celebrities in terms of the startup incubation. So to be very frank, the journey in ECell happened thanks to IIT Bombay. They invited me for giving the foundational classes to the ECell incubatees. I mean these incumbents who are joining first time in the incubation to understand what entrepreneurship is, how the entrepreneurship works, what are the challenges you have. All those things were completely done on the foundation class. So I'm one of the few people who take these foundational classes for the ESL, mentoring them from the school side. I mean, in the sense, people from who are well passed out is also can apply in IIT Bombay's ESL. So to make sure that to guide them towards ideation stage to problem statement and so on and so forth, we mentor them to make sure that they do the right thing. And that's
Fantastic, Akhil.
ESL.
Thank you for throwing some light on that. I also think because your startup is basically built on AI emerging technologies. How do you think these technologies can impact the future of business and education?
I want to be very frank. Let me talk about the business first of all. To be very frank to you, if you look at it, there was an era of cryptocurrency used to happen. Then there was an era of blockchain hype. Then there was an era of metaverse hype, and now it's AI. Okay, so it has seen a lot of pitfall and slope across the last 5 years. The problem is that all these three technologies has to integrate together. They are not separate. I mean, in the sense, if you look at blockchain is a back-end technology. It gives governance, it gives transparency. It cannot give product. AI, on the other hand, provides product. Metaverse, on the other hand, provides a platform. So all these three things, when sold separately, looks like a half story, half big story. That's the reason all the three, if you look at it, AI also means being implemented everywhere, but you don't understand where the future looks like. Blockchain had a lot of potential, but you know more than me. I mean, last 5 years, you don't see a big breakthrough in blockchain. And same goes to metaverse. The reason is actually all these three things are integrating together. One is giving the filling the gap for the other. So unless and until these companies come together, I don't think there's a very high future for all of them. So the future, to be very frank, you will find more of a virtual economy, which will come in which metaverse will be the platform, blockchain will be the governing technology which provides the digital currency, and AI is the main epitome on which the customer will get the experience in terms of product, analytics, everything else. So that's how the whole world is going to be. And seriously, it's not my view. It's exactly what it is supposed to be. For example, I want to give a sentence. I think people will understand. Internet is not the famous technology or the popular technology. It is the Amazon or the Facebook or the Google. I mean, the technology is never the popular one. It is the companies who uses it. So unless until we find blockchain, metaverse, AI integrated together and a company leading it, that is the future. But to be very, we need another Google or Facebook to come out which integrate all these three technologies together to give the customer the experience, because customer will not come to you because the technology is great. It has to give experience, and that's how Facebook became popular or Instagram became popular or the Google. So I mean, you have to look at from that angle. So future is integration of all three. We need customer experience where the work should be done in all the three technologies.
Absolutely, and I think rightly said so, because you've drawn parallels from internet and how Facebook and Google are the ones, making the emerging technologies go big when it comes to customer experience as well, and the whole
Yeah.
idea of digital transformation. So thank you for being so comprehensive and insightful, Akhil. And I also would like to understand from you. You've done your PhD in management. You've been the awardee of Celerity 40 Under 40, and you've also been a TEDx speaker. What's been one of the most rewarding yet challenging part of this journey? Now you're a dean as well, and you have a company of your
Yeah, I mean, to be very frank, it may look more of a cliche, but I think the most rewarding experience is when I teach in the class and the student get good marks out of it. I mean, seriously speaking to you, because you actually, if you ask any teacher, na, they forget everything when they're in the class. I mean, that's the best thing which I get it. 40 and a 40 TEDx, I think, are the outcome of all these things. I mean, to be very frank, I don't know how to answer this question, but I want to be practicing faculty. What do I mean by practicing faculty is, if I talk to them about startup, I need to have one. If I talk to them about technology, I need to have one working with me. And same way. So if that is appreciated in the classroom, I mean, that's the biggest thing I have. And rest, I mean, TEDx speak and everything is just an outcome of all those things. The main thing is my classroom where I get the best. I mean, that's the biggest moment of my life.
very well said, and I think so. Would it be safe to say that education has been the heart of your journey, a heart of this journey?
It is always, it is always, it is always, it is always, it is always.
Great. And Akhil, I think thank you once again for being inspiring and insightful as well in today's session. I would like
Thank
to
you.
conclude it, but before that, I do have a couple of rapid fire questions for you. Just a couple of 4 to 5 questions. Are you ready?
Sorry, your signal again
I
gone.
have planned a couple of rapid fire questions as well for you
Sure,
before we conclude today's sessions. So, are you ready?
sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm
Great,
ready.
great. The first question is tea or coffee to kickstart your day?
T.
Okay. And blockchain or AI if you had to choose one to focus on?
That's a tough one, but AI.
Any particular reason? I mean, obviously, it's very natural for you to pick AI, but yet, any one reason?
Okay, so I think I have given the answer in the previous question as well. That blockchain is a backend technology.
Correct.
Okay, so backend means consumer will not have any effect whether blockchain works or doesn't work. Okay, you won't understand that whether it is working or not. It's like server. I mean, you're using internet, all those things, but server koi bhi badal jaye, it doesn't change the customer much experience. AI has the potential to change the customer's experience, and we have seen that from ChatGPT. The kind of people subscribing to ChatGPT has been enormous. I mean, after Google, it is the only thing which has actually changed the way people start their daily life. And that's because AI is front end. It is changing the way customer experience a particular thing. So I bet on AI, but that doesn't mean, I mean the question has a problem. I would say blockchain is a backend technology and AI is front end technology. So there's a choice between that. But if you look at from the consumer side, obviously I will bet for AI. I mean, that's the one which is going to be a product in the future.
Fantastic. Next, a favorite place that you have traveled for work or pleasure.
Okay, so in India it is Kerala, and in outside it is Sri Lanka.
Okay. And an industry you haven't worked in yet but would love to explore.
Yeah, that's I want to be part of SpaceX.
Okay, interesting. The best
Yeah,
piece
yeah,
of career
seriously.
advice that you've received so far.
Don't plan too much. Whatever comes your way, put your 100%. Whatever you plan doesn't work accordingly.
Rightly said. So I think we all can apply that even at this stage. It's something that we can all relate to.
Yeah.
Lastly, if you could describe yourself in 3 words.
Okay. I would say innovative, creative, and visionary.
Let's add inspirational as well to that.
Thank you.
No problem. Akhil, this session has been very insightful, and thank you once again for sharing your story, taking us through your journey, and providing your perspective as well. We would be concluding this session, but I really want to thank you once again for joining our live and agreeing to do this with us.
Thank you.